Have you ever wondered how far the human spirit can bend before it breaks? Picture this: a prisoner, his life hanging on by a thread, finds peculiar counsel in the most unlikely of places, a concentration camp. Among the despair and desolation, a fellow inmate, a doctor of some 60 years, offers a sliver of hope, a strategy for survival. His advice was simple yet profound. Shave daily, if at all possible, even if you have to use a piece of glass to do it, even if you have to give your last piece of bread for it. He explained, the goal? To look younger, to appear healthier, to create the illusion of vitality in a place that sought to drain it. The doctor's words painted a chilling picture of their reality. If you want to stay alive, there is only one way: look fit for work. The consequences of failing to do so were dire. A blister, a limp, any sign of weakness would catch the eye of the SS men sealing a fate in the gas chambers. He introduced a term, a Moslem, a label for those too weak, too sick to work. Sooner or later, usually sooner, every Moslem goes to the gas chambers, he warned, his words echoing in the hollow silence. Shave, stand and walk smartly, then you need not be afraid of gas. The doctor's advice was a beacon in the darkness, a guide to navigate the treacherous path of survival. His words carried a grim reality, but also a glimmer of hope. Every prisoner, whether they had been there for 1 day or 100, had a chance at survival, except perhaps one. The doctor pointed at me, his gaze piercing. Of all of you, he is the only one who must fear the next selection, so don't worry. His words were frank, chilling, but not without a certain compassion, and I smiled. I'm now convinced that anyone in my place on that day would have done the same. What is normality in the face of sheer horror? This question, my friends, has haunted humanity throughout its tumultuous history. Let's consider for a moment the disquieting reality of a prisoner's admission to a concentration camp. Imagine the shock, the disbelief, the crushing weight of despair. Imagine the heart-rending separation from loved ones, the abrupt severing of all that was familiar and comforting. This initial emotional upheaval, this torrent of fear and sorrow, is but a natural response to an unnatural situation. It is a testament to our inherent humanity, our capacity for empathy and connection. It is the soul's outcry against the unspeakable, a rebellion against the unthinkable. But as the days turn into weeks, a transformation occurs. The prisoner, once a vibrant individual with hopes and dreams, now finds himself numb, apathetic. This emotional death, this seeming void of feeling, is not a sign of weakness or surrender. Rather, it is a survival mechanism, a necessary adaptation to a reality too harsh for the human heart to bear. This relative apathy, this emotional deadening, is the mind's way of shielding itself from the relentless onslaught of horror. It is an abnormal response to an abnormal situation, but in the context of the circumstances, it is, paradoxically, normal. These reactions, as I have described them, began to change in a few days. What happens when the longing for home and the revulsion of the present collide? The newly arrived prisoner, thrust into the grotesque reality of the concentration camp, was subjected to an array of painful emotions. There was an intense longing, a yearning so profound it felt as though it could consume him. He ached for home, for family, for the familiarity of the life he once knew. This longing, this desperate need for the comfort of the past, was a torment in itself. But it was not just the longing that tortured him. Alongside it, a profound disgust was brewing, disgust for the filth that surrounded him, for the rags that served as his uniform, and for the ugliness that had become his reality. The camp was a cesspool of filth, a stark contrast to the cleanliness and order of his former life. The prisoner's work was often in the midst of this filth, clearing away the waste of the camp. The filth would splash onto his face, and any sign of disgust, any attempt to wipe it away, was met with punishment. The brutality of the camp not only deadened his emotions, but also hastened the death of his normal reactions. And thus, the mortification of normal reactions was hastened.